Good evening. I'm Jacqueline Sustaita, President of the Weslaco ISD Board of Trustees. This special board meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting has been posted online for at least 72 hours. The board is meeting by the use of Google Meets and telephone transmission, which allows two-way communication for members of the public during public comments. A recording of this meeting is being made and will be available to the public at a later date. The time is now 5:36 p.m., and I call this meeting to order. I'll now begin the roll call. Let the record show afterwards. Trustee Rodriguez.
Present.
Trustee Cuellar.
Present.
Trustee Castillo.
Present.
Trustee Treviño.
Present.
Trustee Nieto.
Present.
Trustee De Los Santos.
Present.
Let the record show that a quorum of board members are in attendance. On to item number 3, public comments.
We have two. And let me just connect the first one.
Okay, the first one will be on the phone, so we'll just wait for a couple of seconds to get them on the phone.
You're staying here for the holidays? Oh, yeah. Yeah, my schedule's gonna be pretty light, so there's a lot of family time at home. Good.
Ms. Garza,
Yes.
you're connected. Please wait for the president to give you instructions.
Good evening. Please identify your name and address.
Diana Garza, 1011 East 10th Street, F7.
Thank you. Pursuant to the Texas Open Meeting Act, the Board of Trustees may not deliberate on any comment made by a member of the public on a subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of this meeting. As per the Texas Attorney General, the scope of board discussion for a subject not part of the meeting agenda is limited to only a proposal by a board member to place the subject on a future board agenda. Specific factual information or recitation of existing policy may be furnished in response to inquiries, but the board shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Audience participation at a board meeting is limited to the portion of the meeting designated for that purpose. At all other times during a board meeting, the audience shall not enter into discussion or debate on matters being considered by the board unless recognized by the presiding officer. No public comment presentation shall exceed 5 minutes. Any disruptive behavior by any speaker may result in the speaker's removal from participation in the meeting. Please be mindful of using names or personally identifiable information, as there is no immunity from defamatory comments while participating in public comments. Do we have a timer ready for 5 minutes? Okay. Ms. Garza, you have 5 minutes and your time starts now.
Good evening, board trustees, students, parents, and staff. I'm commenting on agenda 4.2. Consultation with attorney regarding legal issues pertaining to the superintendent's employment, including possible resignation agreement. First of all, this specific individual has had the same repetitive history of incompetence, degrading, and abusive verbal statements made specifically to women. This is not hearsay, it is not gossip, it is a matter of record recorded in multiple school districts. He threatens school districts and gets away with being paid off with taxpayers' money. His financial records of filing bankruptcy prove the same unethical behavior time and time again. He had no regard for here for
Ms.
people's
Garza,
livelihood.
our attorney is saying,
Not to attack any individuals. That's what what you told her, not to be attacking individuals, so please refrain from it, please.
Yes?
it is part of
Hello?
her First Amendment speech, but Mr. Sepulveda is saying not to attack any people as you speak.
Okay. Okay, so I'm not attacking. He had no regard for people's livelihood and pushed hardworking people out, divided the community. I hope that the person that is named interim this evening takes a look at the disaster that was left behind in 8 short months, picks up the pieces, and begins rebuilding this once amazing district with the best interest of students and all staff at heart, and will also respect all staff regardless of education level or title. Not too long ago, we had a superintendent that during the audit that was allowed to leave and got away with all that was allowed to transpire during the audit findings. Only you know if she got paid off or not, but enough of allowing superintendents to come destroy our district at taxpayers' expense, wash their hands and take off. On your next superintendent search, please do the taxpayers and children of this district a favor and do your homework diligently so that you are not faced again with destruction left behind. Thank you. Happy holiday to all. And to Dr. Coronado, Feliz Navidad, and remember, be kind.
Thank you. We have another public speaker comment. Good evening. Can you please state your name and address?
Julianne Valdez, 1103 Stone Street, Weslaco, Texas.
Thank you. Pursuant to the Texas Open Meeting Act, the Board of Trustees may not deliberate on any comment made by a member of the public on a subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of this meeting. As per the Texas Attorney General, the scope of board discussion for a subject not part of a meeting agenda is limited to only a proposal by a board member to place a subject on a future board agenda. Specific factual information or recitation of existing policy may be furnished in response to inquiries, but the board shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Audience participation at a board meeting is limited to the portion of the meeting designated for that purpose. At all other times during a board meeting, the audience shall not enter into discussion or debate on matters being considered by the board unless recognized by the presiding officer. No public comment presentation shall exceed 5 minutes. Any disruptive behavior by any speaker may result in the speaker's removal from participation in the meeting. Please be mindful of using names or personally identifiable information, as there is no immunity from defamatory comments while participating in public comments. You have 5 minutes. Time starts now.
And good evening. I'm here to talk about the issues pertaining to superintendent's employment. I'm going to try to be as broad and vague as possible because I'm not here to target anyone. I'm not here to go specifically name people. But I do have a concern as a tax and community member, and that is accountability and fiscal responsibility. What accountability measures is like, what evaluation system is the superintendent held by the board? Because there's rumors, and another rumor going around, that, superintendents are getting paid off. At one point, 3 superintendents were all receiving a paycheck from the school district. That is fiscally, that is irresponsible when you have, not when you guys were here, before. It's at one point in the school, in Weslaco ISD history, it was three superintendents and they were all receiving a paycheck. So my thing is here, you have 6 cards. You have classes without teachers. You have real issues, and what's going on here is someone decides, or a group of you decide to get rid of, or the superintendent, whatever, he's released early from his duties. The question is he being paid off? If he's being paid off, that's fiscally irresponsible, because that's money that could be sent to the classrooms. That's money that could be given to teachers. That's money that can be used for something better than paying off somebody because, whatever issues, that whatever, transpires. One of the school board member at one point said, we don't pay people to not work. I'm paraphrasing. He didn't exactly say that, but it's a paraphrase. He said, we don't pay people to not work. But it seems to me we pay superintendents to not work. Time and time again, not just this one, other ones have gotten away with getting a paycheck or getting paid off or a settlement or whatever and going away. That's fiscally irresponsible. And that goes to the question as to why is this going on? Why are they getting paid time and time again? Is there no, like I was going, like in the beginning, what I said, is there no evaluation system? Nothing to hold these people accountable? No documentation to where you could actually dismiss these individuals if they're getting paid without getting paid? Like, I'm not sure if that's like a legality of their contracts or something, but this nonsense has to stop. And now I divert to Ms. Diana Garza, where she says, please do your due diligence, research, and hire a superintendent that's gonna instill confidence from the community again. Because right now, me as a former educator and a taxpayer and community member, I have no faith. I have no expectations that things are gonna get better for this district. I have a niece and nephew that go to this school district. I'm not gonna say their names, but honestly, like, I shudder, like, to think that they're going into this district. And honestly, like, with everything that's going on and all this stuff, just do your research, please. I know you guys tried your best. I know you guys have a difficult position and a difficult job, but please research, do your due diligence, and let's break this cycle, this toxic cycle of getting superintendent after superintendent after superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you. On to item number 4, closed meeting to discuss, number 1, discussion regarding the superintendent's employment, including a possible voluntary resignation agreement, Texas Government Code 551.074. Number 2, consultation with attorney regarding legal issues pertaining to the superintendent's employment, including possible resignation agreement, Texas Government Code 551.071. And number 3, discussion regarding the possibility of naming an acting or interim superintendent, Texas Government Code 551.074. It is now 5:48 p.m., and we will be convening to closed session. Okay, time is 6:26 PM, and we have reconvened into open meeting. We'll start with item number 1, discussion and possible action regarding the superintendent's employment, including a possible voluntary resignation agreement. Do I have a motion?
Are we going to discuss anything?
After the motion.
After the motion.
After the motion?
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
I motion.
I have a motion.
Second.
To approve.
I have a motion to approve the superintendent's employment contract, including a possible voluntary resignation agreement, and a second by Mr. De Los Santos. Mr. Castillo, do you have any discussion?
I think we can go down the road.
Down the road? Doc?
Michael Hurst. So, in regards to this, it's not an easy decision, and then I get it, sometimes agreements don't work out and parties have to go separate ways, but, I do feel like it's something that should have been handled a little differently, and I don't feel that as a district should be held liable for any agreements that might be out there, and if there is some wrongdoing on either party, I think in my opinion, that should come to light, and we shouldn't have to be held liable for anything that might come out of this agreement. And that's just, my 2 cents on it there. I know it's going to get defended, and that's all I have to say about it at this point in time.
Thank you. Mr. Guerrero?
That the timing for this is just not right, in my opinion. I believe that Dr. Coronado has done his very best to move this district forward. He's invested into personnel, bringing people from the outside, moves this district forward, has done a lot of very positive things that I'm very pleased with, and I just want to say that having worked and still working with him has been an honor and a privilege, and until everybody decides, he's still my superintendent, and he's done in my opinion, he's done an outstanding job.
Thank you, Coach Guerrero. Mr. Castillo?
Yes, Madam Board President and members of the board. I agree with Dr. Rodriguez as far as his comments. It is a hard decision, and it is tough to be up here and to try to make these types of calls. And I think with respect to kind of the decision whether to enter into a resolution agreement or to move forward with a termination process, I think that decision comes down to cost and time and length, because a termination process, although in my opinion, I'm not the lawyer for the district, but I do think that we would meet that threshold of just cause if we were to pursue it. But going down that route, that process by statute is just complicated, and lawyers are involved, and it's just a very lengthy process. And by entering into an agreement like this, it saves everybody the time and the effort to go through something like this. And at the end of the day, I think even the cost, when you kind of do a cost-benefit analysis, it washes out, even to the point to where it's just a length thing, because as long as this is pending, well, it's pending, and we got to deal with it. And the community has to deal with it. If we go this route, if the board decides to go this route and approve an agreement, it's done after tonight, and we can move forward. And so that's kind of where I stand.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Mr. Trevino?
For me, I need to be careful what I say here. For me, I'm there's no reason to hold on to something. We need to move forward, and the community needs to, or hopefully the community will trust us that we did keep everything in mind, and we voted on what's best for the community. And I think, we've all sat up here and we've seen We witnessed things that were not to our liking and not, something that I'm gonna stand behind. So that's why I decided to move in this direction.
Thank you. Mr. Nieto?
Again, I think if we would done it a little bit more in a professional and ethical way, this situation would have never been where it is right now. He did a good job. Dr. Coronel did a good job. But again, we're gonna spend taxpayers' money for a reasonable amount, right? And, had he been evaluated, like everybody gets evaluated, whether it's a principal, a counselor, whoever, gets evaluated first before you proceed or before they resign. And everybody's entitled to that, each person, each one of you. So that was my concern. Whatever the board decides, we'll move forward and hire an interim and go forward and eventually get a superintendent that will benefit all 7 that are up here. And then we can move forward and get this district back to where it was. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Nieto. Mr. De Los Santos?
Madam President, thank you. I'm also going to be very careful with my words, but I'll say that being a board member, there's something that I realize. I've only been an elected official for 2 years. But what I've learned very quickly is that there is policies and regulations and things in place that really prevent officials from being transparent and from the community and even the media from seeing the true story and seeing some of the true actions and things that happen here. I will say that I do believe that we need to go in a different direction in the best interest of our students, our parents, our staff, our taxpayers. I am in disagreement in some of the settlements here, but I understand like I said, the cost breakdown and analysis that Trustee Castillo broke down, and that is some truth to it, because we could have easily gone in a different direction. But this is probably in the best interest of, like I said, all parties involved. Every decision, like I said since the beginning, that I make is in the best interest of students, okay, in our community. And so I'll end there with that.
Thank you, Mr. De Los Santos. For me, I just want to say we are expected to work together as a team of 8, and we're expected to have trust and honesty and transparency between us. And what we do here is a trickle effect down to the rest of our schools in the district. So when something's a little broken, I think all of us as educators try to find a solution to how can we fix what's broken. Sometimes it's not an easy one. Sometimes people might agree, might not agree, but the best decision for us at this time was to do this. So the motion was to approve the superintendent's employment resignation, including a possible voluntary resignation agreement. So now that we've all had time to discuss, I'll go ahead and take votes. I'll start with Trustee Rodriguez. Say aye or no if you agree.
No.
Trustee Cuellar?
No.
Trustee Castillo?
Yes.
Trustee Trevino?
Yes.
Trustee Nieto?
No.
Trustee De Los Santos?
Yes.
And the president votes yes. Motion passes. Item number 2, discussion and possible action to appoint an acting or interim superintendent. Do I have a motion?
Madam President, I have a motion. I'd like to name Dr. Richard Rivera as interim superintendent for Weslaco Independent School District, and the board authorizes the president to enter into contract negotiations as discussed in executive session.
I second.
We have a motion by Mr. De Los Santos and a second by Mr. Trevino to appoint Dr. Richard Rivera as interim superintendent pending contractual paperwork. Do I have any discussion?
No, ma'am.
Any discussion? Nope. No. Okay, we'll go ahead and take a vote to appoint Dr. Richard Rivera as interim superintendent. We'll start with Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
Trustee Nieto,
Aye.
Sorry,
That's
I
okay.
moved that way.
That's all right. That's fine.
But I'll go that way, sorry. I'm used to him next to me. Trustee Cuellar,
Aye.
Trustee Castillo,
Yes.
Trustee Trevino,
Yes.
Trustee De Los Santos.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item number 6, adjournment.
So moved.
We are adjourned. It is 6:37 PM.